Okie dokie. So throughout the years I've owned many bits of software to create music on a computer. You've got the original, the 386 Microsoft DOS tracker programs, which of course came out first on the Atari ST 520 and the Commodore Amiga. In fact, this dates right back to the good old Commodore 64. And of course, on Windows 10, you have trackers which are Windows 10 compatible. Funny that. Milky Tracker. I think that's a Linux program that's been ported to Windows now. You have Ryzen, which is the only tracker piece of software I'd ever pay money for. But even compared to Milky Tracker, it is complicated. Now, if you'll notice with these tracker programs, not only do you have to type in all the individual chords, you have to type C, D, and G alongside each other to make a chord. Then if you want arpeggio, voice changer, pitch shift, blah blah, tremolo, blah blah blah, you've got to type in the computer code for that, and you have to know hexadecimal in order to get these instruments working. So this is, I'm just going to show you this much of these programs and move on, because this is I'd call this the music for programmers, and the only reason it's still popular today is because so many Amiga owners and Atari owners have to keep making their favorite music. And you'll hear most of these songs you'll hear nowadays when you legally download copies of legal programs and you're wanting serial numbers and authentication codes. So this author that wrote this song was quite upset that it was being used by crackers around the world. Good old Fruity Loops. Okay, now we've got Fruity Loops. This came with a friend of mine loaned me a copy of this on Windows XP, and you can buy, I mean, I got version 3 here. You can buy 2021's version of Fruity Loops for a good old $500-600. Yeah.
Good sound stuff.
Also with XP, you've got Centrillium's Cool Edit 2000. So the only reason I used Cool Edit was obviously alongside SoundForge. And I forgot to tell you, it's not just Sony SoundForge, it was Sonic Foundry SoundForge back in the day. And on archive.org, I've downloaded Sonic Foundry Vegas 1.0. Woohoo!
The pirate legend, Radio Hauraki.
So, SoundForge, great at compiling Radio Hauraki DJ talking into a real live MP3, and it sounds like it was all recorded off the radio. That's what I did with SoundForge, and Centrillium was just for songs with obviously 4 tracks. Of course, if you want to be technical, I go back to the actual Tascam 4-track mixing cassette tape thingy-majig. Okay, so Sony Vegas, Sony SoundForge, and there's also Sony Acid Pro 5. Now, up to version 5, there was a free version, then there was the full version. So for the rest of this video, I'm going to just stick to two main systems of recording music on a computer. Number one is the sequencer way, the modulation way, where the notes scroll down the screen like this, and the other way is the MIDI way, which the notes are recorded left to right, like English, not right to left like Hebrew, unless you want to turn your computer upside down. Okay, so we're going to just stick to modules, up and down, MIDI, left to right, and I'm going to go into the history of why I spent so many thousands of dollars on musical hardware and software and never, ever, ever used them. Till now. I still own them, I still got them, they're still here. I'm literally using the inbox to hear my voice until the carpenters repair the walls. The wallpaper, guys. Bye. Okay, welcome to part 2. I'm going to call part 2 the Battle of the Magazines. So from July 1992, I've been wanting to learn how to use a tracker on an Amiga, and November 2021, it's the end of October now. I think I will be conquering this after 28 years or whatever the hell long it's taken. I bought this copy off eBay because my actual magazine is absolutely ripped to shreds. So there's the mod trackers, you've got the MIDI, this is bars and pipes. Professional came out on the Atari ST. The Atari ST had built-in MIDI plugs, whereas the Amiga didn't, but I have always owned a MIDI interface, which is in a box at the moment. Bars and Pipes Professional, it's still being continued by some very amazing people. There are still updates being released for this software from May 1995. It's been ported to Windows. It's been ported to a lot of different computers. And there's, like archive.org, there's a torrent that's got everything that can come with this program, going back to the hybrid style program Super Jam. So I've been trying to learn this program since Christmas 1993, and I've now conquered it. This is very similar to software like Bars and Pipes. I've owned this since 1992. Never learnt to use it, so I will be learning to use it, I don't know, 2 decades later. These software, you just type in the notes. It's not more technical than that. You just type in the notes. You can add some extra bit of .cg to skip out the bass and the drums and sort of pause the music and carry on. This is the Amiga version, which has, of course, was originally owned by the same company, Blue Ribbon Software. So the people that are updating this in 2021 are updating this in 2021. So it's now been ported to Windows 3.1, and I think I've got it running on Windows XP. So part of the Amiga video that goes on the Amiga channel will have the variations of that, and of course Bars and Pipes Professional. You can see that the prices of these software, this is back in July 1993, was £100, so a couple of $100. Optimed was similar pricing, and of course if it wasn't for the religious abuse I could have also learnt Lightwave. Now this is a very, very ancient version of Blender. This is May 1996. These were very expensive $800 programs. So imagine Lightwave. I could have learnt to use the software back then. So each one of these magazines came with a cover disc. So here's a programming language that I've been trying to master for 2 decades, and I will now. Bars and pipes. Bars and pipes again. Super Jam. Octamed and Octamed 6. Now there is a very, very expensive, these ones are, you know, sub $1,000. The Apple Mac was the most popular of all for musicians back in this day. This is, I don't know how old this is. So Dr. T released software on the Apple Mac, £400-500, whatever. This is a cut down version of Dr. T, and I've got a whole video on all this expensive software. This is the the great grandfather of Pro Tools, of Reason, of Ableton Live, of Cubase. This is the great grandfather. If there was no religious abuse in my life, I would have mastered all my books. Now I've got Joe Satriani, I've got Ozzy Osbourne, Joe Satriani, which is the very reason I bought my first guitar, because I wanted to be him. The only thing that I've mastered, because Pete Townsend is so important to me because he was sexually abused as well. So I've learnt this one book out of all the music books I bought back in the early 90s. No idea what the prices were of these things, but again, there's sheet music, but it's got a cheat because the chords are all up here, so I don't have to learn what all this nonsense is. And I am trying to learn what the nonsense is, So this is when the repairs to the house have been done. This will go back on the wall. There's the notes. If I can learn them, I can learn them. If not, it's not important to me, but I do want to get piano lessons now that I'm set free from religion. So none of the manuals or magazines, booklets that came with this software. This is banned in a box for Windows 3.1. PowerTracks Pro for Windows 3.1. I did have it running on Windows 95 back in the day. But none of this, so I had everything. I owned all this wonderful stuff. I had everything, but I never used anything. Why did I never use anything? The answer, of course, there was something far more important for a Christian to be doing, learning 1001 chords. Again, this book is from 1992-93. So I've owned it, never used it. So now I'm using everything. I've thrown away the past, and this is my future, to conquer everything that I still own from the 90s. Now obviously none of that was important for a Christian to know about, because we were in a battle between demons and angels. This is scientists versus creationists. You know, you've got this whole religion of evolution being taught in schools, and we just so need to get evolution thrown out of the schools and the facts of creation taught. So I was subscribing to Answers in Genesis, Creation Ex Nihilo magazine, reading them all. The only science I ever learned, I want to make that clear, is from these very magazines. So every article states that the world is 6,000 years old, created in 6 days. Giraffes created marvels, Hubble's Big Bang telescope. So obviously you have to debunk Hubble's Big Bang telescope because the Big Bang never happened. You know, in this world, the Big Bang is a lie, and the cosmic background radiation is a lie, and the universe expanding is also a lie. The speed of light is a lie. So you'll learn everything there is to know about the lies being taught by these evolutionists. The inside story, molecules with a creation message. So the very molecules that make up these very small creatures cry out the name of God. And of course, is evolution true? Of course it's not. So this was a great witnessing tool to open up and show to evolutionists and point out all the errors in their silly belief. The theory of evolution, as Kent Hovind says, is the world's dumbest belief and the most dangerous belief. So this took up my whole entire life from July 1992 to a year ago. In fact, there was only one thing that I'm proud of that I did achieve during all this witness to the world and save people who believe in Darwin. So the one thing I did that I'm proud of, and that's learning Hebrew at a university level. This CD is now, impossible to buy. There is a Greek version, but they're wanting $200-300 because the software is so old. So I've got this on my Windows XP emulator. I know everything that's on it, so I might just use it to get some ideas on how to teach the stuff that I'll be teaching in the future. So I want you to join with me and help me to promote creationism in schools and get rid of evolution. And this is how we're going to do it. On part 3, we're going to go and show you exactly how you can get creationism taught in schools and made fun.